The MW3 beta is over now, and we all got to see a glimpse into what this game is about. Now the question people want to know is, should they buy the game, or is it going to be another disappointing year of Call of Duty? That's what I'm here to answer in this video by reviewing the different areas of multiplayer and how well they did with a rating out of 10 like I'm IGN. And I'll briefly touch on the game modes outside of multiplayer. Maps are up first. We know that we're getting every Modern Warfare 2 remastered map, but the question is, did they change the maps at all, and do they still play well? The answer to both is yes. The changes were very minimal, with them just adding doors that you could open and close, and making the jump spots on high-rise a bit easier, is what we've been able to see so far. But for the most part, they play exactly the same, but with far better graphics, making them look stunning, especially Favela. But the map I think had the biggest glow-up was Skid Row, because they got rid of that greenish tint over it, and I think it had the biggest improvement in gameplay. For some reason, people play Skid Row completely differently to how they played it back in Modern Warfare 2. And while we may not know how the original maps for Modern Warfare 3 will play, we do know that the remastered Modern Warfare 2 maps will play very similarly to before, which is a great thing, which makes me give the maps a rating of 9 out of 10. These videos take a lot of work to make, so please leave a like. Movement. Everyone has an opinion on it, and I think this is going to be the biggest difference in gameplay from Modern Warfare 2022 to Modern Warfare 3. I think this is the best change to this game because the movement feels incredibly smooth and polished compared to any other Call of Duty, let alone compared to the clunky Modern Warfare 2022 that made you feel like you were moving through mud anytime you slid or dolphin dived. And this helps to create a skill gap as well, which is important in any game to make things feel less random when they occur. No matter what you're doing in life, there will be a skill gap, and video games shouldn't be any different. And they also improved ADS speeds and sprint to fire speeds, which helps encourage movement and stop the entire lobby from camping. Movement is only one of many aspects to help stopping the camping epidemic in Call of Duty, and because of the improvements, this is going to be the highest rating in the video at 9.5 out of 10. They did great work with the movement. Become a member of the channel to help support me become a full-time content creator, so I can make more videos and live stream more. Link is in the pinned comment. Time to kill is always an interesting topic. There was research done that had an interesting result showing that the time to kill in Modern Warfare 3 is about the same as the TTK in Cold War, which is equal to being the second slowest time to kill Call of Duty game, only behind Black Ops 4, which is another game with 150 health. Some people like a fast time to kill and others like a slow TTK. For me personally, I think that the slower time to kills are better for multiple reasons. First is that it creates more of a skill gap just like the movement because it requires better aim and it creates more gunfights instead of just whoever shoots first wins. Second is that it also encourages movement. If we look at Modern Warfare 2019, a game that was known for its slide canceling and faster movement, but it still had a huge camping problem, and that's because of the maps and more importantly, the crazy fast time to kill. It was impossible to cross a street in that game without dying, and now that Modern Warfare 3 has better maps, better movement, and slower time to kills, there's far more reasons to run and gun. Of course, there's always going to be campers, but we can expect far fewer of them in this game. The only complaint that I have with the time to kill and health in general is that the health regeneration is extremely slow, and sometimes it feels like bullets aren't registering, which makes the TTK feel unbearably slow. But overall, it's in a good place. I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. It requires players to actually be able to aim. Make sure to subscribe for more of the Every Call of Duty series and polls and rankings, as well as helpful and entertaining Warzone content. There's going to be a bunch coming up in the next year. Spawns is a huge part of multiplayer that doesn't always get talked about enough, and this is going to be the first major issue in Modern Warfare 3. It's more noticeable on the smaller maps, but at times it feels completely random where they pop you out on the map. And on Rust, they give players revenge spawns all of the time. Like in this clip, where this guy kills me and they have me spawn directly behind him for a revenge spawn. That's just completely unfair to the other player. Or when they spawn me directly behind the enemy team for no reason at all. These things should never happen, even on an incredibly small map like Rust. And they even happen on maps like High Rise, where it shouldn't even be that difficult to have you spawn away from the enemies. And the last issue with the spawns is that they flip far too easily. All it takes is one person on your team to push up on the edge of the enemy spawn to have them flip to the other side. They are fully taking away advantages of holding two flags in domination, or players understanding how to put your team in advantageous situations by trying to protect the enemy team. Spawns are a mess. 3 out of 10. hoping for improvements by launch. The weapons and the balancing of the game. Unfortunately, they still have a licensing agreement issue where they can't use the actual names for weapons, so things like the legendary AscendAR are called the MCW. It's a tragedy. But for the balancing of the game, I found it to be rather good overall. Sure, there were obviously weapons that were a bit better and a bit worse, but there wasn't any crazy standout one way or the other. I felt like I could use any weapon and have a successful game, which isn't normally the case for Call of Duty games, especially this early on. But this is of course after they buffed the BAS-B and nerfed the Striker after the first beta weekend, but it's good to see that they're on top of updating the game, unlike with Modern Warfare 2022, where they leave things broken for 2 to 4 weeks. I feel like they gave up on that game after a few months. For this, I'll give a rating of 8 out of 10. But we need to see the full complement of weapons before we know for sure. Create a class is always an interesting topic. It isn't perfect, but it has been improved slightly over the previous years. I'm a big proponent of saying the Pick 10 or the Pick 13 system is the best system for Call of Duty multiplayer over Gunsmith. The Gunsmith is much better for Warzone because your weapons have to be used in more situations, so the extra attachments help greatly. The Pick 10 system gives us far more customization, and it helps you pick your playstyle. For example, I almost never use tactical grenades in multiplayer, so I would remove them and add an attachment, or I'd remove my secondary as well to get an extra perk. But we don't get that option anymore. The one thing they did add was vests, which gives us a little extra customization. You can basically take off a lethal for a vest, which essentially is an extra perk. Not a perfect fix, but an improvement for sure. I'll give the Create a class a 6.5 out of 10. No huge complaints, but it could be better. Skill-based matchmaking. What can I say about this? A topic that has been spoken about to death. Yes, there was strict skill-based matchmaking in the beta, something anyone could easily tell from playing. Have a good game, the very next game is guaranteed to not be fun. There are people who specifically won't buy the game because of the strict skill-based matchmaking. JGOT and Exclusive Ace both tested out the skill-based matchmaking in the beta with their test accounts, and it was insane to see. Their tests looked like they were playing a completely different game. We need to have more of a middle ground here. Sometimes the TTK feels really slow, and other times it feels like you die in 2 shots, and that's because of the poor connection created by the skill-based matchmaking. That's why lobbies will take longer to find, and you'll be searching for matches at 90 ping. I live in a populated area, and there is zero reason the ping should ever be that bad. What happened to Ping is King? Their entire goal is to cater to the 0.3 kill-death ratio players to slowly raise their KD and win-loss closer to 1, and if you're a 2 KD player, they're going to punish you, and they're going to slowly try and lower your KD closer to 1. Now that skill-based matchmaking has gone to the point where it's affecting your hit registration, it's affecting your connection, and it's affecting your ability to play with different skill level friends, I understand why so many people are getting upset. But the reason complaining and talking about it since Advanced Warfare introduced the heavy skill-based matchmaking is pointless is because the Call of Duty developers won't even acknowledge its existence. They won't talk about it to fans or content creators, and they clearly don't care what we think because obviously whatever equations or algorithms they have make it show that they make more money this way. They just don't care about meeting their dedicated fans in the middle. They only care about their pocketbook. So for skill-based matchmaking, it's a 0 out of 10. I hope the greediness would change with Microsoft taking over Activision, but the thickness of the skill-based matchmaking shows it's still here. But maybe this game was just too far along when Microsoft acquired Activision, and next year we will see change. And one last comment, screw lobbies disbanding. If we're not having fun, we can back out ourselves. Pay to win, a topic that always comes up. The good news is that there's no exclusive weapons, and everyone can obtain them for free, which is an improvement over the supply drop system from the advanced movement Call of Duties, but there was still a clear element of pay to win in this beta with the $100 Vault Edition that gave players weapons and attachments early that were superior to what everyone else started with, and obviously they got those through the blueprints. And we've seen this from bundles since Modern Warfare 2019, where the bundles generally give players stuff early that saves them about 5 to 15 hours of grinding the game to unlock these things, which I suppose is good for people who don't have the hours and hours to play the game and want to unlock the new weapons or attachments. An easy way to make it not pay to win is to not release these bundles as soon as the new weapon comes out and release it maybe 3 to 5 days after, so the people who could play and unlock do, and those who couldn't can get it at the same time if they want to pay for it. But then they would definitely sell us bundles, so that will never happen. I've never bought a supply drop or a bundle from Call of Duty, and I've only ever purchased the games and DLC packs. I think think paying for those things supports Call of Duty being greedy, and for the pay to win, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 rating. It's not terrible because everyone has access to unlock all the same things, but gives a leg up for people willing to spend cash. Overall, I think the beta shows a huge improvement to what we've gone in the recent years, and is on the Cold War level of quality with its multiplayer. And we know COD always does a pretty good job with its campaigns, and I'm not sure what to think about the zombies mode that seems very similar to DMZ, and Warzone 3's gameplay shows that we should be expecting a battle royale much more similar to Warzone 1, with better movement, high zoom optics not having crazy visual shake, and a map that's more similar to the design of Verdansk. I'm very hopeful for the new year of Call of Duty, and I give the beta a rating of 7.5 out of 10. And for me, this is a buy rating for anyone who is an avid Call of Duty fan. And if you're curious how the community ranks Call of Duties, check out this video. Peace.